All right. Strychnos is a melodic blackened death metal band out of Denmark. They formed back in the late 90s as more of a black metal band, and they I don't remember how long they went on with all that. I know they released a number of singles and EPs, just a few over the years, and so this is going to be a tough uh, written review, and it was a tough sort of thing to talk about because what exactly is Strychnos and how can I communicate that to you in one sentence? Well, unique melodic black death metal uh, of no specific era. And what exactly am I trying to say here? Well, it's not, there are 20 years of influence going into this thing where it took them a long time to decide upon the lineup. It took them a long time to decide on the style and go in a direction that they could run with. And they finally found a direction they could run with, and it's obviously got 20 years of character packed into it. And so when you sit down with this record, immediately you're hit by some swaying, almost like here and after era emulation kind of swerving riffs, and it's sort of developing this atmospheric value. It's kind of like a slow motion kind of bolt thrower thing happening, and then uh, they hit you with kind of a melodic black metal song, uh, which is really interesting because it's very catchy. It's got a lot of heavy metal behind it. There's big riffs all over this first couple of songs. I think the third song is probably one of the most effective on here, and it's got a very strong groove behind it, which is, we're not. It's such a weird album to talk about because there's a bit of War Master era bolt thrower in this riff, and there's a little bit of like catatonia on this song, early catatonia, before like Tiamat and them went off to write goth metal, like those atmospheric death metal kind of stuff. And it's not that this record is crazy and all over the place. It's just they're painting a very unique style for themselves, and it takes a bit of patience to sit down and go, well, what actually is this? It's again, it's a unique form of melodic blackened death metal, and the new edition, per their past releases that you won't find on those previous releases, is a strong death metal influence. Probably because there's a member of Untergang in here who sort of led the whole thing. Um, and those are classic death metal influences. So there's a lot of pretty interesting stuff in there if you're a fan of like old school death metal, as well as melodic death metal, as well as melodic black metal, as well as black doom metal. There's there's everything that a lot of people will like all at once. But the challenge is, how do I sit down and say, hey, this is cool, and here's the thing that it sounds like? It's to their benefit that they just sound like Strychnos, and they'll have to do that convincing one by one to people who are willing to pick this record up because it just looks cool. And I think it does. It's a great cover art, and a really finely produced album with just packed with song ideas. Every single song counts here. All the riffs are just, beautifully on display. I think that you're going to remember this album for its songs more than you are for how well it fits into whatever box that it picks up along the way. I think they're at their best during their catchier, more melodic black and death metal songs, but there's a lot of variation here. A little bit of doom wouldn't hurt towards the end of the album just to break things up, but they kind of get there with some bigger grooves and some bigger ideas. Uh, I like the idea of just calling it tragic death metal or tragedian death metal, because it does have that sort of spirit of black and death metal, but uh, this will appeal probably more to like a classic melodic death metal fan who likes the like a no fashion era release. Um, so it's an easy recommendation for me, but it's a hard thing to explain. And I think that's a cool place to be, and I hope more people check it out. So see if that's your thing, and that's about it.